It begins with a scrawl of red ink on a sheet of computer paper. A single, astonished word that would echo through the halls of science for half a century. Wow. This simple annotation, scribbled by astronomer Jerry Amon in the summer of 1977, turned a routine night of cosmic listening into one of astronomy's most profound and enduring cliffhangers. It marked the moment humanity may have overheard a whisper from the stars, a signal so powerful, so distinct, and so utterly mysterious that it continues to defy explanation. What Amon had found was not just noise, it was a structured, fleeting transmission from the depths of space that, for 72 tantalizing seconds, looked exactly like a message we were meant to find. The stage for this cosmic drama was the Ohio State University Radio Observatory, affectionately known as the Big Ear. It wasn't a sleek, modern dish, but a colossal and unconventional instrument sprawling across a field in Delaware, Ohio. Its design was ingenious. A massive, fixed parabolic reflector, the size of 3 football fields, worked in concert with a smaller, tiltable flat reflector. As the Earth turned, the Big Ear swept a narrow strip of the heavens, patiently listening. Its primary mission was one of the most ambitious in human history: the search for extraterrestrial intelligence, or SETI. The project was a systematic effort to answer an age-old question: are we alone? To maximize their chances, the Big Ear's astronomers tuned their receivers to a very specific frequency, 1420 megahertz. This isn't just any random spot on the radio dial. It's a frequency of profound cosmic significance, known as the hydrogen line. It is the natural emission frequency of neutral hydrogen, the most abundant element in the universe. SETI pioneers Philip Morrison and Giuseppe Cocconi had proposed decades earlier that any intelligent civilization wanting to broadcast its existence would likely choose this universal, quiet channel. They called it the water hole, a natural gathering place in the vast radio spectrum where different species might come to communicate. The Big Ear was parked at this cosmic waterhole, waiting for a voice to break the silence. On the night of August 15, 1977, the telescope performed its silent vigil as usual. There were no flashing lights, no alarms. The data was simply recorded as a continuous stream of alphanumeric characters on long sheets of fanfold paper. It wasn't until days later that Jerry Amon, a volunteer for the project, sat down to review the printouts. His task was methodical, often monotonous: scan endless columns of low-level noise, represented by the numbers 1, 2, and 3, looking for anything unusual. Then, his eyes landed on a sequence that made him sit bolt upright. Buried in the mundane data was a startling anomaly: 6EQUJ5. In the Big Ear's coding system, numbers 1 through 9 represented signal strengths just above the background noise. Once the intensity surpassed 9, the system switched to letters: A for 10 times the background noise, B for 11, and so on. The sequence Amon saw showed a signal that rapidly grew in strength, peaking at U, a staggering 30 times stronger than the ambient cosmic noise. It then fell just as quickly, perfectly mirroring the way the telescope's beam would scan over a fixed point source in the sky. The entire event lasted for exactly 72 seconds, the precise duration dictated by the Big Ear's design. Overwhelmed by the textbook perfection of the detection, Amon grabbed his red pen, circled the sequence, and wrote the only word that seemed to fit: wow. The signal came from space, lasted 72 seconds, and matched what we'd expect from an intelligent transmitter. The wow signal wasn't just strong, it was incredibly specific. One of its most compelling features was its narrow bandwidth. Natural cosmic sources, like stars or gas clouds, tend to emit radiation across a broad range of frequencies. They are messy, but the wow signal was confined to a channel less than 10 kilohertz wide, a sliver of the radio spectrum. This is a hallmark of an artificial transmission. Broadcasting on a wide band is inefficient. A technologically advanced society would likely compress their signal into a narrow, powerful beam to maximize its range and clarity. The signal was narrow, strong, and impossible to ignore. The Big Ear had another clever feature: a dual-feed horn system. It essentially had two ears that scanned the same patch of sky a few minutes apart. Any continuous, fixed celestial source should have been detected by the first horn, and then, a few minutes later, by the second. This would produce a distinct double-peaked signature in the data. But the wow signal appeared in only one of the two feeds. It was there, and then it was gone. This meant the source was either not continuous, or it had vanished in the brief minutes between the two observations. Immediately, the observatory's director, John Krause, and his team swung into action. They pointed the big ear back to that exact region of the sky, in the constellation Sagittarius, hoping to hear it again. They listened that night, and for many nights and months to come. They found nothing. The cosmic whisper had fallen silent. With no repeat detection, the team turned to a more sober task, ruling out every possible earthly explanation. Scientists chased every mundane possibility with rigorous skepticism. Could it have been a satellite? They checked the orbital paths of all known satellites. None were in the telescope's beam at that time. Furthermore, satellites of that era didn't transmit on that specific, protected frequency. Could it have been an aircraft? An airplane signal would be unlikely to so perfectly mimic a fixed celestial source for 72 seconds and then disappear. What about a ground-based source? A signal from Earth bouncing off a piece of space debris? The team investigated this Earth bounce theory extensively, but for a signal to be reflected with such strength and stability, it would require a highly specific and highly improbable set of circumstances. Decades later, new theories emerged. In 2017, one researcher proposed that the signal could have been generated by the hydrogen cloud surrounding a passing comet. Two comets were indeed in the general vicinity of the sky at the time. It was a plausible natural explanation. However, other astronomers quickly pointed out flaws. The comets in question were not in the telescope's beam at the exact moment of the signal, and subsequent observations of other, more prominent comets at 1420 MHz have failed to produce a similar signal. Even more mundane sources like faulty equipment glitches or interference from microwave ovens were considered and dismissed. Nothing fit. Every terrestrial and solar system explanation they tested led to a dead end. The signal's characteristics stubbornly refused to align with any known phenomenon originating from Earth or its immediate neighborhood. If not from Earth, could it have been a strange, undiscovered natural phenomenon from deep space? The universe is filled with exotic objects that produce powerful radio emissions. One candidate is a pulsar, a rapidly rotating neutron star that sweeps beams of radiation across the cosmos like a lighthouse. However, pulsars have a characteristic repeating pulse, and their signals are typically much broader in frequency than the wow signal. Another possibility is a phenomenon called interstellar scintillation. This is the twinkling of a distant radio source as its signal passes through turbulent plasma in interstellar space. In theory, a weak, continuous signal could be momentarily amplified by this effect, causing a sudden, strong burst. While this could explain the signal's strength and transience, it wouldn't explain its incredibly narrow bandwidth. The signal remains an outlier, a unique event that doesn't neatly match the signature of any known astrophysical object. And so, we are left with the most extraordinary hypothesis, the one that Jerry Amon himself considered the moment he saw the printout. Could the wow signal have been a deliberate transmission from an intelligent civilization? It ticks many of the boxes. It was detected at the hydrogen line frequency, the logical water hole. It was narrowband, a sign of artificial technology. Its rise and fall intensity profile perfectly matched a source being scanned by the telescope. It was powerful, suggesting a transmitter far more advanced than our own, designed to be noticed across interstellar distances. Perhaps it was a beacon, a cosmic lighthouse sweeping the galaxy, announcing, "We are here." Or maybe it was a targeted signal, aimed at our solar system for reasons we can only imagine. But this hypothesis comes with a heavy burden of proof. As Carl Sagan famously said, "Extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence." And a one-time, 72-second signal, however perfect, is not enough. In the decades since 1977, the mystery of the WOW signal has only deepened. Countless hours of follow-up observations have been conducted, not just with the Big Ear before its demolition in 1998, but with far more powerful and sensitive radio telescopes around the world. Astronomers have repeatedly scanned that small patch of sky in Sagittarius, hoping to catch a repeat performance. They have all come back empty-handed. The silence from that direction has been absolute. Yet the legacy of the signal is immense. It galvanized the SETI community, proving that their search was not entirely in vain, and that tantalizing signals might be out there, waiting to be found. It has inspired new search strategies and technologies, and it has captured the public imagination like few other scientific mysteries. It remains the most compelling candidate for an extraterrestrial signal ever detected. Today, the WOW signal remains unresolved, a cosmic cold case. It is a singular data point in a vast universe, a 72-second enigma that is both deeply frustrating and profoundly inspiring. Was it a perfectly aligned but ultimately mundane coincidence of terrestrial interference? A 1 in a billion fluke of natural astrophysics that we don't yet understand? Or was it exactly what it looked like? A brief, powerful greeting from an unknown intelligence. A momentary crackle on the interstellar telephone line before the connection was lost. We may never know for sure. The signal exists as a tantalizing hint that the cosmos might be whispering secrets, or perhaps just playing the ultimate cosmic prank. Either way, it stands as a powerful reminder of our place in the universe. It proves that there are still great mysteries hidden in the night sky, and that space, in its infinite and silent majesty, still knows how to surprise us. It keeps us listening, searching, and wondering. And in the end, that may be its greatest gift.